Greetings from the largest collection of humans anywhere on Earth, Tokyo, Japan. As you can see, it's very humid. Let's try to wipe that. We're going to spend the next 2 weeks exploring all the great cities and locations on this beautiful island. So last night we saw this on the way in. It was bustling and full of life. In the morning, a lot quieter. So we're starting our sightseeing in Tokyo by going to a shrine in the Asakura area of Tokyo. And it looks like, now we're doing this very early in the morning because it's going to be about 100 degrees with humidity later, but it looks like these would all be stalls if we came later in the day. Oh, in fact, there's one right there.
Down a couple of alleyways, you know, just look at some cafes and stuff. And then I went down to a park. And then in the course of that, we were...
So this shrine in Asakura is one of the most famous shrines in all of Tokyo. It was built sometime in the 1600s during the Japanese Edo period. It was apparently built by two fishermen and some wealthy businessmen who converted them to Buddhism. It's a pretty impressive complex. It does feel very old. Probably later in the day you'd be able to buy some little knickknacks. Give yourself good luck in the shrine. These Shinto shrines just have a very distinctive architectural style. Very beautiful, but very different from anything I've seen in my travels.
Okay.
And clean your hands before entering the shrine. So they ask you not to take pictures of the actual shrine, but here's from the side. Also, really, the two brothers lived in the 600s, not the 1600s. The shrine was built in the 1600s to the two brothers. Just a minor correction. Off to the side of the main shrine with this beautiful garden. And it looks like some koi over here. So we'll go get a look at those. And just for the viewers at home, the name of the big shrine is the Sensoji Shrine, but it's in Asakusa, or however you pronounce it. I won't lie, my Japanese is rough at best. This hall, even though it looks old, was built more recently, in 1994, to commemorate the 1200th anniversary of the birth of the monk who founded the original shrine. They seem to be pretty serious about the no shooting directly at the shrine video, so I'm going to try to respect that and instead walk around the garden and just tell you that the shrines themselves are terrific. Highly recommend. Oh, it looks like all the carp went over the other area. There's only one here. Now it looks like it'd be kind of cool today because how cloudy it is, but I'm telling you, it is all of 90 degrees and humid enough to fog up this lens every time I pull it out of my pocket. It's crazy. One nice thing Tokyo does is there's a lot of places to cool off, try to beat the summer heat. Another nice thing are the public bathrooms, which are plentiful. Technically, I think Shiroji is a Buddhist temple, and it's also used for Shinto worship. Not 100% sure what the relation is between those two. I think it's something like Buddhism's more about the afterlife, Shintoism's more about your life like on Earth, about harmony and whatever, but you see, I think, a mix of worship happening. Now, one thing you'll note about Japan, and Tokyo in particular, is just how quiet it is. Even in a fairly busy area, a lot of tourists, it is very reasonable in terms of noise, compared to New York, where I was just a day ago, which was always bustling. And the back of the main shrine. So it seems like it's a whole complex, a very holy site for Buddhists and Shintoists. And even after about an hour of being here, it is starting to fill up. This is a really amazing complex. I mean, there's so many things to see. I highly recommend this as a first stop in Tokyo to get you in the Japanese spirit. Branching out from the shrine area, a bunch of these covered walkways, shops inside. Now it seems like most things don't open until about 9 a.m., which is later than I would have expected. Part of the fun of traveling.
Hot when hiking, so just keep extra gear in your back.
So if you want a nice view of Asakusa, you can go up into the tourist center and get a view all the way down to the shrine. And it's free. Also view across the sky nest and the river. It's pretty amazing. Crazy thing about Tokyo is these little alleyways. So you're thinking there's no sidewalk. It'd be super unfriendly to pedestrians, but it actually works. I think if so few people drive. So, cool thing about Tokyo, we're just walking around, find some random shrine with a garden. You surely don't get this in America. But yeah, that's the inside of the giant Buddhist temple we just happened to run into. So we're now gonna head to Ueno. Hope that's how it's pronounced. It could be Ueno, I guess. Park in central Tokyo. It's funny, it's very much like Europe, where you're just next to a random apartment building. You've got, I guess, another shrine. And a grave. Alright, copper bell and a shrine. Another shrine. Y'all are gonna be sick of the shrines here pretty soon. How many more shrines can we see? We're gonna find out. Alright, so across the street here, you can sometimes go on raised platforms like this to avoid the traffic below. These alleys are just super cute. Though really it seems like things don't open until about 11 here, which I'm still struggling with as an American. You know, I guess when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Now we're in Akihabara, Electric City, which is home to a bunch of, I guess, anime shops. So we're going to be checking that out. Definitely a lot more people now out at this time of day, around noon.
This is not a trash can. I just don't want to.
We're now in Ueno Park, home of a bunch of museums and apparently a lot of cicadas, based on the noise I'm hearing. But it's a beautiful natural respite in the big city. Up ahead is the Ueno Zoo, which we're not going to go in because it is too hot. I'm trying to get out of the sun. All right, here's shrine number 600 for our first day in Tokyo. One thing you should know about Tokyo in the summer is it's ridiculously hot. You can see there's actual perspiration beading on my forehead. But it's not stopping me from appreciating this beautiful 16th century, or 17th century shrine in Ueno Park. Now we're going to go to the Tokyo National Museum and hopefully get out of the sun and prevent the sunstroke that I'm inevitably going to have. As we walk through the park, we've chanced on a festival in front of the National Museum. We got some music going here. Sounds pretty hectic. And in the classic Japanese style, the Tokyo National Museum, our next stop. So that was the Tokyo National Museum, or at least one building of it, because honestly I'm kind of bored of art. And we found out there's a cat cafe near our hotel, so we're gonna go see that. So the train lines here, apparently, are blocked off by gates. So people don't go and, I don't know, tag it, whatever have you. Interesting cultural differences. Same hallway as earlier. Different look. So, went to the cat cafe. It was nice, but definitely don't need to go there if you're not that into cats. Anyway, now we're heading back across the river towards the sky tree and the giant golden turd on top of that building. Very scenic here in Tokyo. Tokyo Skytree really is quite tall. It's interesting because there is also a Tokyo Tower. I feel like they're kind of overlapping in terms of the target audience. Walking through the Skytree Mall is quite a maze. Throngs of people all around. But I finally found what I was looking for, the Pokemon store. On day 2, we have left the historic shrines of Asakusa behind. We're now in the more modern, apparently business district, at least looks like it, of Ginza. We're gonna go see the Tsukuji Fish Market. I think that's the name. Japanese names are not really sticking in my head so far, so we'll get there. Anyway, to the fish market. And just like that, as you can see on that sign, we're at the Tsukiji Fish Market, where historically people bought the fish they use for sushi. Apparently now it's more of a tourist attraction, but still very cool. We're currently walking through one of the busiest pedestrian areas in the world, near Shibuya in Tokyo, heading to the famed Shibuya crossing, where over 2,000 people might cross the street at one time. We're now nearing the Shibuya crossing, the Times Square area of Tokyo, as you can see by the digital screens. There's lots of advertising all around. And a lot of construction, also like New York. Alright, there it is, the busiest pedestrian crossing in the world. Made busier by tourists like me.
That was incredible.
So here's the statue to the dog Hachiko, who famously waited for his owner for like 6 years until he died. Very sad movie. Recommend it. It really is Japanese Times Square. I mean, it's uncanny. One of those stranger cafes I've ever seen. And across the way is the Tokyo National Stadium, which I believe was built for the 2020 Tokyo Games. We'll get a closer look at that tomorrow since our hotel is in the area. And now for the highlight of my evening, we're going to walk through the fan zone at the Meiji Jingu Stadium, home of the Swallows, who are playing their crosstown rivals, the Giants, in the Nippon Baseball League. Pretty exciting stuff that I didn't know anything about until literally today. Very old school stadium though, reminds me of Northwestern. We got the fan tent for the rival Giants. Since we're staying here at the Swallow Stadium, I'm supporting them on principle. Same thing. And that is it from the first night back in Tokyo. As you can see, I got a Swallows hat. And I'm now going to go watch the game from up there. So, yep. See y'all tomorrow. Is it a perfect view of the game? No, but still pretty darn cool. As we draw close to the end of my time in Tokyo, we're going to go visit the Imperial Palace here in the capital city, where the government moved during the Meiji Restoration after leaving Kyoto. There's the gate. Japanese palaces appear to be big on moats. We've seen a lot of moats on time here. These are very aesthetic as well. All right, we're now going through the gate of the Imperial Palace. Oh, and there's a bathroom. How about that? Admission to the gardens is free, so we're doing a nice walk through those gardens right now. Seeing the guardhouse. Very classic Japanese. Oh my! And some very strong looking walls. So these walls have undergone some restoration work. Apparently they were bulging out at one point, about to collapse. That makes sense because the Edo Castle here in Tokyo was, I guess, what is it, 1590, over 500 years old, something like that. So, makes sense it would need some repairs, especially with all the earthquakes in the area. Also because this castle area was constructed over 200 some years. It's got layers of walls, all went up over time in slightly different styles. Fun thing about this park is they have a bunch of random buildings on the property that you can go in, like this guardhouse. Apparently this may have been a panic room for the shogun. No one really knows. Alright, climbing up, let's see, the base of the Edo Castle Keep. So this was where the keep was before a fire destroyed it in the 1600s. So many fires and earthquakes in Japan's history, it's quite sad. Alright, the top of Edo Castle. Or what's left of it. It's yeah, a little underwhelming, but that's how it goes sometimes. So the trees here represent the different prefectures in Japan. I think they're all from different ones. So the Gunma prefecture. And no imperial garden would be complete without a lovely zen area. And at least one koi fish over yonder. Lovely. So it appears that the Imperial Palace is closed. So this is as much of it as we're going to get to see, sadly. Still, it's a very beautiful view from the outside. The last glimpse of the fortified walls of the Imperial Palace. Up ahead, through these trees, you can see the Japanese National Diet, the Central Assembly, legislative body of Japan. You can go get a closer look at the building. Alright, get a little closer. Alright, there it is, the Japanese National Assembly. Let me see if I can get this through the gate without them yelling at me. Beautiful building. We got a side view of the National Diet. Alright, we are in the Olympic Village area of Tokyo in the 2020 Games. Up ahead is the Olympic Stadium and the Olympic rings, which still remain up, and the Japan Olympic Museum. So a lot of Olympics in a short space. So we'll go get a closer look at this terrific looking stadium. And up close and personal with the Japanese National Stadium. It's very green. I think that's a movement for the modern stadiums. Quite nice. And somewhere along here are the Olympic torches. So we're gonna find those, put them on video. Because Japan has hosted 2 Olympics, they have 2 Olympic cauldrons. So the 64 Olympic cauldron is right here. Very plain. And then up ahead, we'll get a closer look at this, the 2020 Olympic cauldron, and a mosaic that just happens to be on the stage. And the 2020 Olympic cauldron. Really the 2021 Olympic cauldron, but you know, COVID and that. Much more modern. What's cool, you can see the winners in the 2020 Olympics on the walls of the stadium. So, all-time GOAT, Ryan Krauser, for shot put, and others. Yeah, I haven't recognized a lot of the names, even though I watched most of the Olympics, so interesting that. And I believe that's a public gym that anyone can enter for 600 yen. Greetings from the Tokyo National Art Center on a very rainy day. It's free entry into this amazing building. But to go in any of the exhibits, any of the galleries, you pay money. So, pretty good scheme they worked out here. Alright, for our final day in Tokyo and also in Japan, we're visiting the Meiji Jingu Shrine in a surprisingly wooded area of an otherwise very busy part of Tokyo near Shibuya. So let's go join the rest of the tourists and taking in this beautiful sight. Alright, so this area is named after Meiji, of the Meiji Restoration, the emperor who modernized Japan in the lead up to the First World War. Apparently these are his sake barrels. Or sorry, they're not his sake barrels, but rather they're offered to his, I don't know, his spirit every year. And up ahead is almost assuredly the last shrine I will see in Japan. The Meiji Shrine. I believe dedicated to the Emperor Meiji. So we're gonna quick take a look inside and then say goodbye to shrines. And probably hello to churches in the not too distant future as I head to Europe. So, looks like, as is typical of these shrines, you're not supposed to take pictures of the actual shrine, which is back over there. So, get a nice shot of the courtyard and the gate. Not unlike the High Line in New York, Tokyo has its own raised park. Miyashita. Nowhere near as long, it's just on top of a shopping mall, not an entire former track. But There's a nice bit of greenery in this urban area. The park even has its own rooftop football pitch. Or maybe volleyball because of the sand. I don't know, I'm seeing soccer goals over there. Alright, we are nearing what may be the final site of this incredible trip in Japan. Tokyo Tower. I do love a good tower. I'm gonna get a closer look at that and hopefully go to the top. Not quite the Eiffel Tower, but pretty tall.
We will arrive at the main deck, which is 150 meters high. まもなくメインデッキへ到着です。
The view from the main deck. I actually think I'm enjoying being up here, but there's kind of diminishing returns on the height. This doesn't feel like that much better of a view, even though we're way higher up. Well, I thought the video was basically done. Then we're going back to our hotel and I see there's a soccer game going on. Look at all the fans in blue supporting, I don't know what team. Guess we'll have to go find out. All right, I'm back in the hotel room in Tokyo, and I think that's going to do it. Thank you all for joining me on this trip to Japan. It's been very fun to record, so hopefully it's okay to watch. See you in the next one.